Hi guys, I'm Dr. Benjamin from MEDPG Thrissur, and we have just one more week or hardly 6 days to go for 2019 NEET-PG. And this is a very stressful phase in which we have been seeing a lot of videos from different people telling us what to do and what not to do, including me, and we have all bombarded ourselves with a lot of information. We are all crammed up and we have been trying to revise a lot of things. 19 subjects which took 5 years to study in just 1 year, and we have revised everything in the last 1 month. And we are all really confused because even in this phase you may feel like I have forgotten many of things that I have already been very strong in, and I'm not able to get a decent score in the mock test or the grand test. I'm not able to perform well as I expected. All these things comes up and we tend to be very much stressed and scared about the exam that's coming up. So I think that this video is some warnings on the next 7 days, what you should not do and what you should be doing. I have already told a lot of things that you should be doing, so I won't be stressing on them. But then on a very serious note, I wanted to relate to everyone. There are lots of videos available telling you like what to do and what not to do. So there's no point in me adding more points because all of you guys are saturated with these things. So I thought I'd rather relate with you personally in how I faced this last 1 week phase, and what happened to me, and how did the things change for me. So that will be more helpful for you guys than me telling a lot of points. So I'll tell you what happened with me. It's a small story. I'll finish in 2 minutes or maybe something like that. After my 28,000 rank in NEET-PG, I decided to study in MEDPG. I was staying in MEDPG's office and studying there in the library. So I was continuously learning for the next 4 months. My plan was then enhanced. Then I had a dream of doing PGI. So I was thinking I'll go and do radiation oncology in PGI, and it's preparing for PGI. So that was my dream and that was my goal. I was completely focused on to PGI, and I was really preparing for PGI a lot. And what happened? See, the thing is before PGI, accidentally or incidentally, an AIMS exam came up. So I was very much focused and I was putting a lot of effort. I was revising everything up, stacking up, reordering my learning curve, and I was very focused, and my Ashwat sir was telling me what not to do for these things and what should not be read, what you should be reading. I've done all those things, and then I went in for AIMS exam. That is in November. That is the May 1st week, May 7th AIMS exam, first Sunday. I went in for the exam and it was in Trivandrum. So I went and wrote the exam. I finished up everything and I done almost all the questions very well. And I was feeling very confident because I attempted almost 193 questions, and I was very confident that I'll get above 140 and I'll come in the top 50 or 100 ranks, because I've been doing a lot of research on how many questions I'll get correct. Rather than doing mocks, I was actually mocking up the previous AIMS question papers and doing it up so that I will actually know what exam I'm writing rather than trying for a mock exam. I had given once or twice, but then the rank was very haphazard, so I did not trust them. So the first AIMS exam was given. I came home, I took my flight for the next Friday. I've taken the flight and went to Chandigarh to write PGI exams, and I was waiting there. I was to take a hotel room, and I was staying in the hotel room with my friends who came with me for writing the exam. And at that moment, what happened was I got a call from one of my friends who knew my roll number. She called me and told me that Benson, the AIMS ranks have come and your rank is 220, Benson. My rank was 220. So initially I felt a little I felt a little brief moment of joy and happiness. I came in very close number, 220. But suddenly it stuck another realization in me. What happened was, day after tomorrow I'm having PGI exam, which I was really preparing for and I was really longing to. And a lot of people, much more brilliant people and much higher number has written this the AIMS exam, which is very esteemed examination in the whole country. And I wrote the exam, my rank is 220. So my question that stuck in my heart was, then what about PGI? If I go for PGI, what will happen? I lost my entire confidence in just 10 minutes, and I was completely shattered, and I went blank and zoned out. I was sweating, and when I sat in one place, and the brief joy completely converted into a big question. Benson, your dream and your aim was PGI, and you did all these things, and then ultimately you have reached here, your rank is 220 in AIMS, you made some silly and careless mistakes and you lost your good chance to go into AIMS, and now PGI is at your door, and you are in this situation, you've not read anything new and you are completely out of your phase and you're going for PGI, you will not get PGI. So that question came into my mind. I was completely lost of focus. The next day PGI exam came, I went to the exam hall. Each and every minute I was reading through the questions. what went through my mind was my lack of confidence. PGI is a very screw type of exam in which you have multiple options correct and you have multiple options answer correct. Like all these things are there. So I couldn't finalize my answers. That's when in my previous videos also I used to say, guys, if you are not having the confidence, if you're not calm and you're not cool, you won't be able to rule out options and say that this is the answer. This particular one is the answer and it's not the answer. See, to be sure that this is not the answer, you need the complete presence of mind and should be really, really trusting your senses and your gut feeling. I lost it in my PGI exam, and it was a disaster. My PGI exam was a complete disaster. And I couldn't perform well, but I really worked. I had already finished some 8 to 10 question papers of PGI, and I was very focused with all the topics: biochemistry, pathology, physiology, all those things that are really important for PGI. I had read really well and I was really strong for these subjects also. But then ultimately the entire exam went blank. After bubbling all the 300, some 250 questions, I came out and I was like, there was a brief period of like, what did you do, Benson? Like, what? I couldn't even recollect the questions that is happening inside the exam, and I was completely frozen. And while returning back to Delhi and from there to Kollam, to my hometown, the ranks came and I heard that I'm not there in the top list and I won't be getting something that I want in PGI. And I lost all my hopes, and I was like, okay, it's back to step A again. JIPMER was never even there in my aim or view, because I was always focusing for PGI. So, and then what happened was, this whole thing turned out to be a complete disaster. I went home, I sat there, I cried, actually literally cried for some time. I lost all my hope, I was bankrupt, and I decided that I'll go and work for another 2 months and make some money, then go back to library and start reading for the next session. Or I'll get DNB if I'm getting DNB a nice seat like in Delhi or somewhere. It's really cool, having good quality college. If my parents are willing to let me go, I thought I'll go and join there. That was my initial assessment and everything. Okay, then I made my mind that I will go for the next time. And by then, one of my friends called Benson, like next week we are having JIPMER exam in Trivandrum. I'm coming to your house. We'll go together to JIPMER exam. I went, okay, you come on, we'll go and have it. It's like in the jolly mood. I thought we'll go and write the exam and come back. And then my friend came home to my house, and like in the next 4 days, I was completely binge watching Big Bang series. I'm a big fan of Big Bang series. I was like, the next 4 days, I was completely out. I didn't know what to do. I just sat in my room. I was completely binge watching Big Bang. I'm not lying to you guys. I was completely. I finished almost 3 or 4 like seasons of Big Bang series in the next coming 4 or 5 days. And on 2 days prior, Jishnu came. My friend came over, and we sat in my home, and we like played a lot of like games, and then we had our chats. And like after a long time preparation phase, we have a long time with my best friend, seeing him. And then what happened was, on the day, Sunday morning, both of us drove from my house to JIPMER exam hall. I went there and all my friends were there. In a very jovial mood, I went in. I started seeing the question paper. It was completely off the chart paper. One of the most toughest exams I've ever written. All the questions were completely unseen by me. And I was just taking it very, very like casually. I was reading the questions. What came to my mind first, I just marked it off. Well, and I finished the entire question paper in around like I had some 30-35 minutes to spare when I reached 250th question. And then when I counted, I'm like actually marked around 240 or 242 questions, and I was like, oh my God, Benson, you've done too casually. I think you should reduce something. So you should go back and see. Benson, it's not a joke. You're very committed here, so you should put some effort into it. So I went back and started reading from the beginning. I reduced some of the options, and I came down to 230 or 220, 228. I think 228. I came down to 28. And I finished the exam, I came out. And it's a complete joke for all of us, because JIPMER exam is like out of the league examination it was. And we all came home. Then I decided that, okay, I will not go for a job. My Ashwat sir told he'll support me, he'll give me some support to study. So I thought, okay, I'll go back to MEDPG library. I went back to MEDPG library and I sat there. And like I did not get that impetus or the force to continue studying. And after like two days, one of my friends called up and she told me, Benson, we'll go for a movie, Pirates of Caribbean has released. It's a Belfast Revenge. So I'm like a big fan of Pirates of Caribbean. So I thought, okay, I'll go with her, and she booked tickets for me. I didn't have money for that. So she booked the tickets for me and both of us, and 3 of us, like one of her friends was also there, Jerry. And we went in to the theater, and I was sitting in like right after the interval, some 10-15 minutes into the movie. I got a call from the same person who called for the AIMS. It was me, and she called me and she told, Benson, your JIPMER ranks have come and it is 37. Oh my God, guys, it's like a different feeling, you know, like I never trusted that rank. I just came out, I just made a loud shriek inside the theater. I came out, I sat on the bench beside the theater and I was literally crying and I couldn't trust myself. I called up my mom, asked her to take my hall ticket. I saw my roll number, checked the paper again, it's like Benjamin, is it really me? And it was me, and like the entire next 30-45 minutes I sat there crying and I, like a baby, you know, I didn't know what to do. Like I was like complete out of point joy and passion, you know, like and you know it's a feeling that can be never be explained to anybody else. It is a superb one of the most lovable and most memorable moments in my life ever, that day of realization. And you know, that's when I realized that what changed from the AIMS and the PGI and the JIPMER exams were that in JIPMER I was completely cool. I was completely cool, calm, casual, seeing every questions with what I'm feeling. Like I'm going with the questions that my first gut feeling. I finish it off. I did not get stressed. I did not think of the previous questions in it. All 101 from first question to 250 questions, I did like a marathon or a cross country rather than doing it as a sprint race. So from the first question to 250 question, I had the same passion and the same vigor seeing the whole question paper. So the message that I wanted to convey through this story that I faced and really telling you from my life example is that the key for your success, to get the output that you have put into the exam, that every one of you, whether it be at the rank of 20,000 or 10,000 or 5,000 or first rank, if you want to get the output for your input, the most important, the keystone feature is you go and see the exam as a casual thing. You go through the first question to the last 300th question in 3.5 hours as a cross-country race and not as a sprint. Every single question you should touch it with all your heart, with confidence. You see it and you read the options, and if you have seen the question somewhere, if you are able to rule out at least one option, mark it off and go to the next question, or just flag it off and go to the next question. Do not answer or touch a question that you've never seen in your life. You don't know what the options are and you don't know from which subject the question is being asked. Completely blind. That's called a gamble. Guys, you have put 1 year into the exam. Do not gamble. But if you have read it somewhere in your UG life, somewhere in your preparation phase, you have known that this particular question is from PSM or it is from pharmacology, and this question, these 4 options are like I've seen it, I've heard it, and one of them may be the answer. This one I can rule out, but then other 3 I'm confused. Go ahead with it. Or even if you're like having some preference to at least one option, not able to rule out the other 3, go for it. Go with the gut feeling because it is from your remote memory. Go with it. And in every question paper, there will be 20 questions that nobody, even the first rank holder or even the question setter has to go and refer from somewhere. Such questions will be there, 20 questions. So don't go beyond 280 if it is like really necessary and you feel like really you can attend, then you do go. I don't object going about 280, but then if I was in your position, I'll stop at 280, where I know the other 20 is really a gamble of giving up my negatives, and especially for those people who are really trying to hard to qualify. You know, I know there are a lot of people calling me and saying that, Benson sir, you know, I just want to qualify. Tell me like what I should be doing to qualify, because I know if I qualify, I can get this particular thing and I'm happy with it. Such people don't make too many negatives. You know, be aggressive, go about 250, but not beyond 280 because it is very risky and it's absolute gamble. Okay, and I have heard a lot of people saying mark 10 options as B or 10 options as C. Guys, this is not a lottery system, okay? This is an examination, and you are doctors. Trust your senses, trust your education. Remember what you have learned in the last 5 years. Relate it to any area what you have read in the past 5 years. If you can relate it, answer it. Don't go and blindly mark B or C or D for any 10 questions and then give it for a gamble or a lottery system. No. Like 1 in 1,000 may benefit, but then the other 99 people will go into misery. So guys, please don't follow those things. And at the end, I just want to tell you is the next 7 days should be spent in absolute silence, especially cyber silence. What I'm meaning is, this is the last video I'm going to publish before the exam, and this is the all the best video. And so the next 7 days, I won't be publishing anything in our MEDPG Thrissur page also, and I won't be putting anything in YouTube also, because I want all of you guys to go back to your rooms, close down the doors, sit, take your volatile notes, take your books, read the most important thing that you feel is important for you, your heart. Your heart can be trusted than 10 other guides or friends or leaders, whoever it is, because your heart knows what you lack. So go, take that feeling, gut feeling, take those topics, read it up. You go and revise the bookmark topics, the most volatile things that you feel that is important for you, you have forgotten. read those up. Don't go into any mock test or grand test and get more and more stressed. Forget about all mocks, all grands, all scores, everything. Go in as like a fresh white paper. Go in for the exam. Answer all three, like attempt all 300 and like mark off only 280 or something and come out of the exam and be happy with it. Don't ever think that you have lost your hopes. Don't lose your sleep. Please, like your health is very important. If you're not at your best, it's an afternoon exam. If you're not at your best and you're not able to sleep in the previous night, you won't be able to keep up your stamina. You will lose out a lot of things because of your lack of concentration. So try to sleep very well at least 2 days before the exams, and then go in for the exam, give your best, and have a wonderful exam, guys. The next 7 days, if you have any doubts or any questions, feel free to text me. And MEDPG Thrissur and Benson Benjamin, with all our heart to all those people who followed us and not followed us also, negatives or positives, whatever it is, guys, everyone, I'm giving you all the very best from the depths of my heart. And with all I don't know what to say, but guys, just have a blast, okay? Go do the exam very well, and call back us, or like just text me the questions and tell me how you felt about the exam. It really helped me out to guide the students in future. And let's have a nice exam season. Okay, take care, adios, bye bye.